Hi guys! Most projects which Tubik works on pursue business and commercial goals. But some creative stories are not about making money or promoting brands. They are about changing society and making the world better. Decriminalize Poverty in Tennessee is the one. In this video, we will uncover the process of creating this award-winning website and what will make it special. The client will tell the story together with us. This project was initiated by Zealous. That's the team of professionals challenging injustice through media, storytelling, and arts.
Hey, Scott Heckinger here from Zealous. I lead this crazy organization that supports local coalitions of public defenders and advocates and activists and people who are system impacted, currently incarcerated or formerly incarcerated, to work better together and tell more compelling stories. This project in my work derived from near a decade of working as a public defender and being extremely frustrated by seeing so much injustice. This work at Zealous is all about truth-telling. It's all about increasing awareness. It's all about sharing. It's all about transparency. But critically, it's also about meeting people where they are currently, and unfortunately where people in the United States are currently when it comes to crime and punishment and public health and safety is deeply confused. And so constantly thinking about how can we tell stories in ways that will be more engaging, that will help break through people's lack of imagination for different, that will sometimes even trick people into thinking that, into engaging in content that they otherwise wouldn't have, even though the subject's really heavy. So that's where this partnership with Tubik comes in.
Decriminalize Poverty is such a story about existing injustice issues. It is based on the report by Vera Institute of Justice and a local organization called Free Hearts. The project features a massive archive of impacted voices and a campaign hub for the fight against criminalization. So, we were introduced to the mission and goals, took all those tons of information, and started looking for ways to amplify it with the power of Scrollytelling. In a nutshell, Scrollytelling is turning the process of scrolling the page into a captivating story with the right balance of visuals, motion, interactions, and text design. Its major advantage is meeting the eternal love people have for stories. This approach allows creative teams to transform big amounts of information into a smooth, well-arranged flow and make it memorable and interesting. Actually, we already used it in our earlier projects. The brightest one was the biographic website about Stanley Kubrick. It brought us not only Red Dot and Webby, but also this collaboration with Zealous. That was the project that impressed them and encouraged them to connect with us, as Scott mentions.
My first interaction with Tubik was as a user, coming across their website on Stanley Kubrick and just being absolutely blown away by the interactivity, the organization of sometimes dense material into beautiful, engaging format. And I was always wondering, I always thought, as I'm creating my own work first as a public defender and now leading Zealous and with our partners, how can we always kind of replicate that combination of creativity, fun, quirkiness, and serious. And then this project came up with the opportunity to translate a really thorough and deep report on the criminalization of poverty in Tennessee, a very heavy subject, and content that was dense, into an engaging, story-driven experience that would pull more people into caring about the criminalization of poverty. How can we make that really heavy subject more engaging?
One of the biggest challenges was to create something engaging and catchy when we had a lot of data but no visual content. So, the project presents a mix of text blocks, illustrations, graphic elements, animations, and collages united in an emotional and informative story. Creating proper images was a big thing. First, the keywords were chosen for the theme presented in a specific section. Then we tried to find visual metaphors that would make it clear to a reader what the section is about before reading its text. One more challenge was finding ways to avoid some points. For example, setting the idea of prison without showing it directly, and making graphic content that wouldn't offend anyone. The project uncovers the dominant narrative around crime and poverty, and offers a path to achieve true community safety. Scrollytelling format pairs the narrative with a searchable and filterable database to learn from individual stories, themes, or issues. Working on the website, we had to combine two objectives. On the one hand, it had to be impressive and compelling at once. It had to stand out from the crowd to attract attention among the tons of web content. What's more, it had to motivate the reader to go through the story up to the end to get the whole picture. On the other hand, the website had to be super intuitive. We wanted people belonging to different age groups and tech literacy levels to use it without much effort. It had to be a canvas for the story that would uncover its message in full. We carefully analyzed each message from the huge archive of impacted voices. That let us consider what kind of visuals would strengthen them and what part of the general story they fit best. Readers can find them in short notices supporting each chapter with messages from real people. Also, there is a special page called People's Stories, where you can read the voices wrapped in short speech fragments. The website design was made in Figma. As for typography, we chose Dunder font for taglines and headlines and paired it with new Haas Unica. For illustrations and small graphic elements, Procreate was the primary tool. We created all the custom graphics from scratch, and the collages were based on the proper photos selected on Unsplash. Motion graphics were mostly made in After Effects or implemented directly in the development process. Our creative efforts resulted in the vibrant and optimistic treatment of the topic. It has opened up new possibilities to breathe life into the covered issues. All that equipped Free Hearts and other advocates with a powerful new tool to shift the public narrative around punishment, poverty, and safety in Tennessee.
It wasn't just the end quality that has been rightfully awarded all kinds of design awards, and immensely proud about that. It was the process of working with these folks, with my friends now. It was the communication, it was staying on track, it was not just implementing our vision, but pushing back at the right times about things that could work differently or should work differently. It was the smoothness with which things went from just an idea to kind of timelines process. It was the just knowing and that feeling of any time that we got anything from them and we were going to see something new, that feeling of excitement.
That's a real moment of happiness to reach that kind of collaboration and feedback from the client. And the project got recognition from the design community, getting 2 Webbies, Awards Side of the Day, and other awards. And guess what? New projects by Zelos and Tubik are up. Advocacy Through Walls website is already live and working, and new ones are coming. Thanks for watching this story. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the new videos. In them, we will give more details about the design projects and share practical tips on tools and processes. See you!